3 points of articulation, bone crunching sessions, a nice little special to ease you into the new year. I'm your host, as per, Jamie Wills, joined today by Luke from Wrestling Trader. Luke, what a pleasure. How are you?
How are you? I'm good.
It's good. I think I was sort of been trying to get you on for a long time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just to go through what we're going to go through today. I think we've timed it very well, should we say, with everything going on at the moment, and we'll come to obviously how you and Kate are both the redeemers in my eyes. But we'll yeah, I think it's sort of a long time coming for this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've been going on like for months, but it seemed like the perfect time. Before now, everybody knows that we're obviously bought Chella. So
Yeah, so the worst kept secret for a bit, wasn't it?
yeah.
That you guys were interested in it. Well, that brings on sort of first question really, and first point. How did it come about? Did you message them and say, look, it's all going awry, let's slide in there, or did they message you and were like, Luke, be our savior?
Yeah, Luke, come and save us. No, they obviously we had exclusives through them, Al Snow, Andre the Giant, and all these others, and it got to a point where the communication, same as all the customers, it just stopped with us. We'd get like weekly updates, and they'd stop. And I reached out to Charles, the owner. I said, this kind of thing would send a company like mine bankrupt, and I can't have that. Is there any way we can buy Chella? And it turned out he was already speaking to somebody to purchase Chella, and we ended up buying it.
You slid in there, didn't you? Have a better offer. Slithered.
No,
Damien.
No, it was a story behind that. It was a story behind it. Obviously, like figure collections in the US, I was interested in buying them. We were 50-50. Due to like the laws surrounding the UK and the US of purchasing the company.
Yeah, because we've had Jack on. We've had Jack on from Figure Collections before. Lovely bloke.
Yeah.
And
I love Jack.
Yeah, so there's very similar to what you guys do. Obviously, I think the only difference you had, like Nick Aldis, I think was it your first exclusive that you had?
Yeah, Black Nick Aldis.
And very, very similar to them. I think they were around the same time, if not the same amount of variants from them. So I think there's always that working relationship that they had with the pair of you. And was that obviously easy to then transfer for you working with FC as well?
So obviously we planned to go 50-50. Got on really well with FC, Jack and Josh. And we ended up buying it outright. There's all sorts of stuff happened behind the scenes. We're talking now. We're back friends.
Oh, that's good then. It wasn't quite brutal. Wasn't over the England America football match the other day, was it?
Nah, I mean,
no.
We're growing men selling dollies. So
no, and we're grown men buying dollies. It doesn't stop us from messaging you with abuse, does it? So I think that's one thing that obviously with exclusives and stuff. Because we've got a Joey Knight variant as have basically everyone going at the moment anyway. Obviously he reached out to us and was like, look, we're doing a variant, do you want to get involved? Was that similar to them, or did you message Chad to start with and like, look, can we?
So we purchased Wrestling Trader, I think it was March, and I think one of the first emails I sent out was to Chella. And obviously I saw the Nick Aldis, and obviously we're selling the same as all the other people in UK and Europe, and what to stand out. So I said, do you have anything? And he sent me 4 coloured Nick Aldises we could choose from. Gold, black, purple, and I can't remember what the other one was. One wasn't available.
There was a bloody head Crockett Cup. Which was in the purple pants as well. Then I think it was just the standard purple pants wasn't available, and they only had 50. It's become quite a myth.
And we chose the black. We chose the black one because the Wrestling Trader colours were black and white. And I messaged him and said, if I can contact wrestlers and get them on as exclusives, are you happy to do them? And he said, yeah, carry on. So I made contact with Al, lovely bloke, and yeah, never look back.
I think that's one outside the box thing that we've seen, especially from the early exclusives, was the card variants.
Yeah.
Because I think that was one, because you paired up with an artist that I follow on Instagram. He did just really good stuff. I remember seeing it and thinking that's toyetic background and colourful. It stands out especially. Was that the dream of it, just to be like make it stand out from?
We were obviously I feel good and bad regarding the variants, as we were very like early stages of releasing exclusives, and I didn't really think too much about people having to buy all three. I just thought to myself like, oh, that looks cool, that looks cool, that looks cool. Let's get them done. I didn't really think too much about everyone having to buy all three of them from PS. So I feel bad on that part, but we got the samples over. They look quality, and people will love them.
Yeah, I never feel bad about.
Illustration by Rich.
That's
fantastic job. Yeah.
So never feel bad about releasing more variants. I think obviously people, that's people make a choice, isn't it? They make you could sort of go, we're going to be a full completist, or make cuts, or throw toys out the pram like they normally do. But I think with like, if you looked at the Greg Valentine idea that you guys had as well, which never really come to fruition. But it's sort of that innovative thinking that's going to make you stand out, isn't it?
Yeah, I was sad it never came off. It was in a period where Charles was silent. I couldn't get through to him to convey what we wanted to do. And stuff was getting lost in transition, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, people like me emailing you with phone drawings. Read the competition probably.
I think Tippy would have made it look great, but just we had so many emails for people to cancel it and go with the standard Chella card. It just made sense.
Yeah, and I think with the card itself, I mean, I think it's just the uniform people seem to like, isn't it? Especially for mock collectors. They like it when it's sort of a full uniform one. And is that one thing that obviously going forward you're going to look at again, or is it just a sort of thing where you're going to stick to series, to colours?
I think we learned our lesson, and the only time we'll see a card like that is a different series. It's a different figure. Also, not the retros. I think retros are going to stay standard Chella cards now, and so we got the standard blue, which is going to be per series, and then for limited editions, it's going to be black cards for limited editions in between series.
The Jerry Knight one, which is going to be every color under the sun. So I think we mentioned like also some changes before we come on, and sort of especially to sort of HQ, Wrestling Megastore HQ. One thing we've seen in particular since the takeover has been sort of better, clearer customer service. There's been better responses. There's been updates. There's been a lot of things that were sort of lacking towards the end, especially when you look at like how many figures are in the pipeline. People start to get a bit itchy, don't they? And they'll see like a Big Daddy figure, someone will have it in America, and they'll be like, "Oh, but he's English. How's that work out?" And you get that quite a lot. So I think the communications really stepped up from that side of things. Is that the first thing that you had in mind when you took over?
The communication was so poor for so long, and Chella was one man band. It'd be just Charles. There was no other person involved. Just Charles. Charles packed the orders. Charles took the orders. He done everything. So thankfully, obviously, me and Kate both are on Trader. Kate does 99.9% of Wrestling Trader. I have a day job I go to. Kate runs everything. She packs the orders. So she runs social media, and for Kate, to make her life easy, it's just constant updates. It's just what people want to hear at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's one thing people get annoyed about. People don't mind waiting for figures. It's one thing you expect nowadays, don't you? It's you get a pre-order up, you wait 6 to 8 months for the figure to come out. It seems to be a standard. But when there's like no communication, when there's like a complete lack of it, that seems to when it goes a bit awry. And it seems like you're sort of staggering releases at the moment, because you had like, well, Al Snow seems to be this month. Obviously, you had Haystacks a few months back. Dynamite was last month. So is that sort of the game plan, just to like let's not pump everything out at once. Let's just
So obviously it's just me and Kate, and if we'd have bought over 4,000 or 5,000 figures, we'd just swamped, absolutely swamped. So just literally working by figure, and Swoggle's on his way over to us. He should be in the air somewhere. So when Swoggle arrives, other than Gangrel, I think that's, apart from Series 2, I think that's every order. So within 3 weeks, everyone should have everything they've ordered that's in stock.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's a complete change around.
Which is a massive turnaround, because there's so many people waiting for Big Daddy and Haystacks for so long, and it's just nice for people to start receiving.
There he is. Lovely little soft goods.
It's incredible. It's such a good figure.
It doesn't look 3D printed.
I cannot wear that out.
No, it's just strange. And so as we talked about, like, obviously the difference. And when we look at that and you look at the Haystacks, it's crazy. I mean, people have been waiting how long for Haystacks and Big Daddy figures? It's the first thing that people talk to you about. If you speak to someone over the age of 60 about wrestling, they always say the same thing, don't they? Big Daddy, giant Haystacks. It's always the first two they mention. So I think it's bound to do that is incredible, and to make it look so good as well. It's
Like Tiffy's artwork was incredible for both, and they just come out looking perfect. I can't wait for people to receive them.
Yeah, so if you look at even way back when, I think, I can't remember what figure it was. It might be in the higher booster one, that they were putting the posters out with Haystacks and Big Daddy in them inside the ring. And that really got a buzz going. Obviously, then you had the week pre-order, and that was, it seems like, it must be about a year ago now. That all come to fruition.
I'm not too sure on the days. I think it was this year. I'm not too sure on the dates.
I want to say it was either late last year or early this year. Would be the two.
It's all a blur.
It's all a blur. But the good thing is they're gonna be in your hands soon. You're gonna have a Big Daddy in your hands soon. But that's obviously one update for the retros. Updates for other lines, that because obviously when you took it over, there was a lot of fingers in pies. Mainly like the Impact figures. That we've obviously seen renders of. I was a bit confused as to what had happened with them, because obviously I know that Chella were making them, but then Asylum was somehow involved in it. Well, go on.
Yeah, so Chella manufacturer, we're manufacturing the Impact figures. Asylum batted for Chella while Charles was here. Asylum, so Impact approached Asylum, and Asylum put Chella forward for the task. Really well on a limb for Charles, and it's quite a big thing. And so Asylum are the middleman in the operation.
So I think if you look at Impact's roster, there's a lot of toy characters there, as well as a lot of big characters and even legends and so on. And you've even got obviously figure people in there, like the major pod guys are there at the moment as well. So if you get the lineup running, are they being made from the same, like the uncensored parts? Are they, or?
No, so they're separate parts, their own parts. I'm not sure if going forward. I mean, the thing is with it, you want to use as many unique parts as possible, but it costs money. So going forward, you're gonna see as much unique parts as possible to distinguish each character. There might be dipping into the same the fight mold or so forth, but we want them to be as unique as possible.
I think you've picked 4 characters to start with that are unique. So you got the Jordan Grace, Deanna Perosa, Moose, and Josh Alexander.
Jordan Grace.
Yeah, Jordan Grace. Yeah. So you got those 4, and I say they are unique. None of them had a figure already, so it's not like you're making a one that's had plenty of figures. So was that? I don't know if was that sort of the plan, or is that the plan going forward as well for him?
So we've come in at the back end of it, and all the conversations were happening with Charles with Impact for us. I'm pretty sure they would have put those 4 forward, Impact, and I'm sure they'll choose who to go for in the next series as well.
Okay. So
but they're solely sold through Impact.
Yeah, for the web, for the Shop Impact website, which we can get delivered to for the UK. So that's always that question. That's always the first question on the agenda, isn't it?
I mean, I'd love to get them to sell for Wrestling Trader. Hopefully, we can make that happen.
Yeah, that's to save us a bit of postage, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
always a treat. So, existing lines. You got the bone crushing. Apologies, Jack. Bone crushing wrestlers. So obviously we've had the Blue Meanie that was on Chella's website for pre-order over here. FC did Blue Meanie and the Brian Clark as well. We had an update earlier from Pablo, who does the Chella Toys podcast, or did the Chella Toys podcast. Saying obviously he's been doing a lot of distribution for FC as well. Is that going to be for things like the bone crushing wrestlers and so on? Yeah.
So part of us taking over Chella is obviously FC done 99.9999% of the work involved in the bone crunching. Is it bone
crushing?
Bone crushing. The bone crushing wrestlers. It's, like I said to Jack at the time, it's your baby. You take it. So they're not affiliated with Chella anymore. They're going to be affiliated with FC Toys. Jack and Josh got some brilliant things lined up, and frankly, Pablo can distribute it in the UK to UK customers. We would love to have sold them. We'd love to have it part of Chella, but they want them, and they've done all the work. So it makes sense just for them to run with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the names that have been announced for, obviously the line. When speaking to Jack, he was really proud of the line and everything that had been done with it. I think, obviously, I'm being a 90s kid myself, or 1990 anyway, it's sort of my favourite era of figures was that one. So I was going to pick them up regardless. But I think looking at Macho Man as well as the last one, that's going to be a big seller. So he's going to have a lot of work on his hands, is our Pablo, isn't he? Yeah, he's got a lot of work. Pablo can do it. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fun. But no, obviously FC are going to kill it, and Jax loves them, so I'm sure they'll do well. Yeah, well, another line that I've actually been asked to ask you about is the Wrestle Dudes. Was it Wrestle Dudes Demolition? Oh. Yeah, like the Funko style. Yeah, like the bobblehead. Yeah. Yeah, it was a weird one. It seemed to have just been shelved and lost in the mix-up. A couple of weeks ago, I had an email from Heroes Hideout. Obviously, they hadn't heard from Charles for a while, so we explained the situation. Back up and running. Molds are complete. So they're ready to be mass produced whenever, and they look wicked. So box art is finalized, and mass production is ready to go. And awesome. Trying to look who we can have in the next couple of releases. So it's not been axed? No. Or smashed. No, or smashed. not crushed, though. You're not having crushed. yeah, not crushing enough. And the uncensored line, obviously, we had Dynamite Kid, I think we've seen like certain pictures. I think there was a problem with the head that Chella had, and I think it was too small. And then also we went back to get it redone, and also we've had a Sabu as well. Any updates on when we're supposed to see those?
So Dynamite is boxed in the factory, ready to come over. We're trying to clear the backlog of the retros. Last week we took 63 boxes of Big Daddy, and is a lot. And similar to the Uncensored Dynamite, will be waiting. So I should imagine week and a half, and they'll start shipping over to us. We pay everything express at the moment, so it's literally 4 days from factory to our front door.
That's a treat, isn't it?
It's an expensive treat.
That's not true. I was gonna say, that's not cheap, is it? That's not cheap at all.
No, but we want everything on hands by Christmas, so we can
and I think
crack on with Series 2 and look forward.
I think especially with the Uncensored line, so that's been a good while, and also it's good that they've made those changes to the head and so on with it as well. So I think we were excited to see those.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what we can do with it. See people's reactions to the Dynamite and the Sabu.
And
the Impact feel great in hand.
What was that? Sorry.
The Impact figures feel great in hand.
Oh, do they?
Is it? I haven't felt the Uncensored yet, but the Impact feel great.
With the Impact ones, I think it's, as we said before, but obviously are they in scale with your elites and your ultimates?
Yeah, they're in scale. They're a little bit chunkier. Not as thin as elites. They feel really good. It's obviously got got so much articulation in them. It's got the waist, the hips. They're really good.
It's more of a sort of.
We've sent the prototypes.
Oh, okay, that's good then. This sort of.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed they'll be in hand soon.
Yeah.
I was about to do a smooth transition with Dynamite Kid, but we've spoken about Impact in between that. I don't think you wrestled in that. We had the Fig Hill did his panel at WrestleCade the other day.
Yeah.
Was yesterday, was in our time. I mean, some of the reveals on there, exciting. It must be exciting for you guys because obviously it's probably been the first full reveals since you've took over. Officially.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so we've shown card arts, actual thing. What we've got coming up is something that is the first. Obviously, DDP has been done for a long time.
Yeah, we saw DDP for Love of Wrestling.
Yeah,
when we were there. So we I think that was when it was first shown. Then obviously looked great then. It still looks great now.
Yeah, it just felt I didn't want to announce it during like a grey period of nobody knew what was happening. I mean, it's going to be a phenomenal figure. It deserves his own announcement.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's I don't say wise, but it is because you don't want people being like, well, "Why are you releasing figures when?" Yeah, I think that was probably what's going through your head as well. But
we were skeptical about announcing, but I think we're releasing figures and getting figures to people that they've had in pre-order for ages. So I just want to show people once Series 2 is out of the way of what they got to look forward to, that the wait's not going to be as long. The pre-order times aren't going to be as long. Just want to keep people interested in the line.
Yeah, I think one way of doing it is doing something a little bit out of the box, should we say? But having the British Bulldogs in that attire is well, it's WrestleMania 2 attire, I assume, is it?
Yeah.
So having that as a 2-pack as well, was that? I mean, did you think about singles, or was it always?
Singles would have made us more money.
It's not all about money, though, is it?
Sorry?
So it's not all about money.
It's not all about money. I mean, I'm gonna look like. I mean, I used to buy these figures in car boots for 50p when I was a kid, and so to actually have an input in what's released and like leave a little bit of history in the figure release, really, really important. So 2-pack was never not an option for us. The first thing I've done when we made contact with the factory after buying Chella, I discussed the problems that they'd had with bubbles on previous releases, and I said to him, I want to release regular 2-packs, and he said it's all fixed, it's all done. We'll send you samples, and the samples have been brilliant. No issues whatsoever on the 2-packs in the carding for us. So I feel really, really good about releasing them.
Because I think obviously you showed the card earlier. We saw the image of it. Yeah. I think looking at how it's positioned, obviously I know it's like a render or like you just use the image for that, but yeah, is that going to be the background with the UK flag? And
nah. So that was literally just to show people the shape of the 2-pack card.
Right.
Our new artist that literally just done the Andre card art, Mike McGee. In the next week or so, he's going to be drawing up the Bulldogs. It'll be similar to Andre and Greg card arts. Obviously, they're part of Series 3. So we have Andre in WrestleMania 2 gear. We have the British Bulldogs in that 2-pack. So there'll be a very similar card to Andre. Either side. Blue. Yeah.
But then the card art's probably the one thing that's been praised probably the most so far for it is sort of how good it looks. There's a couple of like, little minute changes that you wouldn't notice unless you look for it. One thing, for example, is like the name being removed from the bottom, like the wrestling maneuver, it's been replaced with the signature. My only assumption for that is because they're not really moves, are they?
They don't have actions.
No.
It's a bit of a fraud putting actions there. I mean, it looks great. Nostalgia-wise, it's fantastic, but we wanted to keep it there for nostalgia reasons. So action figure seller Richard came up with the idea of Tradition Continues, just to keep it there, and we're starting putting the signatures on the red bit.
Oh God. Doesn't make sense. I think someone mentioned it earlier, and that's what dragged my eye to it. And I thought, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah. So unless someone points you in that direction, you don't really notice.
Because people were picking it up, but also nobody picked it up when we announced the Greg card art a few weeks ago.
Exactly.
It was exactly the same.
It just takes one person. We also had the Warlord image as well, which is toyetic anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think you can ever put out a bad Warlord figure, but it looks great.
So did you see any leaked photos of the previous Powers of Pain?
I think we saw. Were we going back 4 or 5 months?
Yeah. So I think some pictures circulating of Swoggle. I think Swoggle was used as a measuring stick against Barbarian. They look great. And Callum TMW done a fantastic job painting them. I just felt like Powers of Pain were big, top heavy guys, and the 3D work just didn't portray that. So we had them redone, and that's the redone images that we saw last night from Faker.
Yeah, so I think that's a big difference. And so you can't really do a bad figure, can you, with those? But you can do an average one. So you've gone above and beyond with that one.
Yeah, obviously we're pushing hard for the fantastic gear accessories.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially for the old school guys.
Yeah, and our hope is obviously, a lot of people signed the contracts for Leather Wrestling next year. Obviously, Powers of Pain, Demolition, Diamond Dallas Page. We're going to have Demolition and Powers of Pain done, finished, ready for the event.
Lovely.
There'll be like limited edition releases instead of in series. There'll be standalone 2-packs.
There'll be 2-packs as well.
Yeah, there'll be 2-packs as well. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. I should get both of those sign there's going to bump that up, isn't it?
I mean, I think obviously we haven't spoken about Demolition yet, but two of the nicest blokes I've ever spoke to, stand-up guys, and their figures. Not obviously you just saw these online. Brilliant paintwork, fantastic paintwork.
It shows the camera again. I think you went off a little bit.
Sorry.
There they are.
I just felt that these particular ones, how do I put it? Just fell short of what we want to achieve going forward. And I knew that they could be more toyetic than that. So they're being redone. Well, they've been redone. And next job is painting, just to show people the changes we've made. Fantastic. They look fantastic. But going forward, we obviously Chella's had a lot of issues with like scaling and certain things. We don't want any of that. We want it to be absolutely perfect. So we've gone back to the drawing board, being redone.
Yeah, I think that's well, I don't speak for everyone in sort of the figure communities and stuff, but you'd rather wait 2 months or 3 months to make sure that you get the figure bang on. You know, it's an annoyance, but would you rather have that, or would you rather have a figure that's had no effort and no love going into it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite active on all in all the groups, and I won't be able to message if I release a half-assed figure. I won't be able to show my face. They got to be spot on. They got to be spot on, and that's what we're hoping to achieve.
Well, I don't think wrestling figure fans are that bad, are they? That's...
yeah.
So the process of silent talent for you, Luke. So do you slide into their DMs, or do you wait for them? Do they contact you, or what sort of the?
We have been contacted. Originally, I was sliding into DMs, but we're at a point now where we go through management. So a lot of these wrestlers now have agencies. So a lot of times for agencies. When we first started, I thought, how am I going to get hold of a wrestler? So I went on to Cameo.
Oh, the videos, yeah.
I thought these people are looking for money. So I just started going through like wrestlers on Cameo, and just reaching out to them, and I didn't get any. But and then I sent Al a message on Instagram, and he messaged back, said, "Yeah, this sounds pretty cool." And then sort of word of mouth since. So yeah, we're at a point where we sort of go for agencies.
It's probably easier than going for their OnlyFans, I imagine.
Yeah.
It might not be. It might get more fun that way. So to obviously have the onboarding process where you email them and you reach out to them, obviously they say that they want to do it. You then discuss fees and stuff. Is that when you then go to Tippy, like, can you draw this guy, or?
Yeah, so I think only a few times we've gone to Tippy before the contract's been signed and said, can you draw them? We want to show them what you can do. Normally signed and pass on to Tippy and works his magic.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to turn it down after they see some of his stuff, are they?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And I'm sure I wrote my message. He got disillusioned a lot with Chella in the middle of it. We see Brian as a massive part of Chella or whatever going forward. The pre-orders is all built solely off of his drawings. It all starts with Brian.
He gets it. He gets it, doesn't he? Yeah. I think that's the difference. You look at, without naming names, but you look at certain companies that come into fruition now. You look at their the initial renders of their drawings. Yeah. People just compare them to Tippy now, they'll say it's nothing like.
Yeah, I mean, he's got such is like a unique way of presenting them as well. I think he's the best. I think he really is. Yeah,
he made Joey Knight sell out his figures.
Yeah,
which I mean, he needs a knighthood for that, not a Joey knighthood. Don't.
Yeah, I do know. Nice figure.
No pun intended. It is.
But yeah, I was obviously the Brian's drawings. A lot of the figures, bar a few, some of the magic gets lost between the drawing and the actual figure released. So what we're trying to do is we're literally trying to take Tiffy's drawing off the paper and make it come to life.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to make it from Series 3 onwards. That's what we're trying to do.
Sort of like the Aha video for Take on Me.
Yeah, that.
I won't sing on Take on Tippy. I won't. So the actual, like, obviously, because people might not know this, but Wrestling Trader is actually a shop as well as that's crazy. But as you said earlier, obviously you got like a USP now where you're also doing retro figures as well as having a shop and obviously standing out in a relatively crowded market of being like a small online retailer into the sort of already crowded market now of retro figures as well. I think is that sort of, well, I guess it wasn't a plan to start with, but was that sort of the light bulb moment for you?
It wasn't planned to start with, and it is required, but there's some phenomenal independent stores in this country. They're doing some brilliant work. Stuart at Rock and Roll doing some fantastic work.
Lovely bloke.
Yeah, lovely bloke. We spoke on Messenger back and forth. Obviously, they have the
Rush.
Really, the Rush figures. So it was just back and forth, a little bit of chat of what to expect. Not to take everything to heart because there's a lot of people, a lot of messages when you start selling retros. But yeah, so they do brilliant. And Wrestling Traders, it's been a dream job, really. I don't think there's been any downtime.
No.
At all.
A dream job for your wife, obviously.
Yeah, dream job. No, my kids, obviously, they start off in our house. The kids hate wrestling now. They don't want anything to do with it. Frankly, it's no longer in the house. But, we bought I used to do the graphics for the old owner. And he used to give me like a few figures for the graphics for the website. And then one day he said, I'm selling it. And Kate stupidly said, oh, why didn't you buy it? I said, I'll buy it, but you've got to run it full time and leave your job. And she said, yeah, right. So
easy as
he's
that.
ran it ever since. Yeah, easy as that.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
Because was he called Michael? Martin saying that?
Mick, Michael Cast, yeah.
Yeah, the short version of Michael. That's close.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I think I obviously picked some up. You said mystery boxes and stuff back in the day. So I think during lockdown, stuff I picked it up, and then obviously when I think you made that announcement, and then you guys took it over, it was quite a. I don't think that was possible to like buy a shop. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it was certainly eye opening, and then obviously you have the full circle to this now.
I think if we didn't buy Wrestling Trader, because it had like a reasonable following, we would never have got the Nick Aldis, and we wouldn't have ever ended up purchasing Chella. We wouldn't be starting right now. If we'd just been another bedroom seller selling wrestlers out of our bedroom instead of buying Wrestling Trader, we'd probably be here now.
Instead of a garage.
Yeah, as I'm sat in my mum and dad's bedroom, as our new place is being built.
Because I think that's obviously one you said there about bedroom sellers and stuff. It's not that sort of place. You maybe got 5-6 retailers that you can go to that you can trust that aren't going to run away with your money. And as you said, you got a bit of clout as well when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And the final question that I've got for you, anyway, is current
Yeah.
wrestling. Do you watch current wrestling?
I do not. I have the what's called the network. I have the network.
This is
I watch
wrestling
all- I
shop
watch every-
owner Luke Shadbolt.
Yeah, I forgot what it was called. I watch every pay-per-view every month. I'll fast forward for Raw and SmackDown. But I mainly watch it through the groups, and if it's posted, and if I see something like, oh, you should have seen this last night, I'll go back and watch it. I don't really have too much time. I watch so much sport, so much football. I don't have enough time to watch wrestling as well.
I know what you mean. I'm in the same boat.
When I do fill the urge to watch wrestling, I rarely ever watch a current. I'll always go back to like mid-90s, like worst year '95, and watch like terrible pay-per-views of like Mabel and stuff like that. It's comforting.
It's a cheap plug for an upcoming figure there of for Mo anyway. You know, maybe it's not.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
Well, he can't. He published it before anyone was ready. Yeah. So I think current day is sort of a different kettle of fish. Obviously, being a current day wrestling supplier, you have to keep one eye on it. I imagine.
Yeah.
It's always one thing.
I mean, I also want to keep up to date with like AEW. I watched a bit. I watch big moments like I see. There's so much. What 3 hours long Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Or Raw, and most of it's not great.
Faff, yeah. I think it's about 14 hours a week on average wrestling.
Yeah. So I mostly see it through the groups online.
Yeah, that's probably the best place for it, really. Just keeps you out of trouble, doesn't it? One thing I forgot to mention earlier was CWF, the German toy company. So they obviously reached out to us originally and had an interview with Sebastian. He was sort of releasing pictures. I think he said back then that he was going to have some parts made by Chella as well, was the original plan. Since then, I think I saw him in Cardiff and had a conversation with him. Since I've not heard anything, I've even messaged him. Not even sure if he's still with us. But have you heard anything from
No. I mean, they're on my list of people to contact. I just haven't got around speaking to them. I don't know the ins and outs of the deal. I've not seen any information regarding it. So if he's watching, if he can reach out to me, he can reply. That'd be
there we go.
Yeah,
that's a little plea there for you. Right, so before we move on to the Q&A, which we put on our Facebook, just to see obviously if I had any questions for you, we did have quite a few. I thought we'd play a little game because obviously at the moment on your figures you've got for a bit they had Wrestling Trader figure collection, which is quite a mouthful, not quite as punchy as Chella. So I figured that I'd have a go at trying to rename the sort of the line and what you put on there. Made a few suggestions. Feel free to tell me to fuck off. The first one, nice and simple. Chella fellas to start with. That's what you are.
Yeah,
you and Jack.
I'm not sure Kate will like being called a fella, but
no. Fellas. You go fellas.
Yeah, Chella fellas and Kate.
Or going away from the Chella name, you could have not Chella Toys. Work?
Punchier. Yeah, good work.
Obviously, Chella was made from Charles and Ella. So you could have Luke and Kate, and you could have late figures.
Late.
And then if anyone says figures, just say the name, the clues in the name, mate.
Yeah.
Late Toys.
I've seen a few names banded around in private messages we can possibly take.
There we go.
Yeah.
Late.
I can't say them on here.
You could sort of ride on the back of a different company and call yourself Chazwares.
Yeah, that's good.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Or this sounds like a sort of a 2008 indie band, Uphill from Aldis.
Oh.
Which UFA.
Has it been uphill?
Oh, yeah, it's been a bit of climb. That will probably be one of the first songs from Uphill from Aldous, I imagine. They'll probably cover the climb. Yeah. Or just like, because obviously you had yourselves and FC.
Yeah.
You could have, rather than Allied Powers, Chellide Powers.
Have you chosen these, or
I have chosen all these. Yeah, these are all these are all me.
Yeah.
We'll put a maybe next to them. Well,
But maybe, yeah.
But maybe, or maybe not. Well, we'll not veto them just yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a nutshell, let's have a look at the Q&A sessions.
Yeah.
In the group. So obviously, thanks for everyone who put a question out there. Obviously, it takes a lot of your time of your day. Obviously, you probably get a lot of messages as well. So hopefully, this clears them up for you as well.
Yeah.
Right, let's start. To scroll through all these updates that I'm doing for you guys. All right, so question 1 from Ryan Gopal, Drag Race. He's put, what was your favorite BCA figure growing up? Did you have BCA figures growing up? We're around the same age.
I'll be really honest. Obviously, it was Hasbro's at car. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, so it was Hasbro's at car boots. And then it was WCW, was it Toy Biz? And Wards. And then I don't think I bought a wrestling figure until NXT Asuka in Argos. It was a massive chunk at the time. Yeah,
they had a big sale, didn't they? They were like $4.99 each.
Yeah, they were £4. They were £4 each. And
it's a treat.
I saw it. I bought it for my son and my daughter, and my wife said, "That's for you." And I said, "Yeah." And then I'm not sure what year it was, and then I started collecting that year. And obviously I've got a massive collection back at my house ever since.
So that's probably about 2018, I think that was.
Yeah.
They reduced those, so I remember picking up. I think I got a Reigns and a Bobby Roode, I'm pretty sure.
That Roman Reigns is terrible figure.
Yes. That and Rusev.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously don't knock the car boot Hasbro's either. I think regardless of how much money you had as a kid, they're always the go-to.
I still do it now. I still car boots for Hasbro's and Star Wars figures. That's my go-to.
You got to.
Obviously, I remember as a kid, just a rucksack just full of Hasbro's. And on a Saturday, Sunday, we'd go to the car boot and 2 for 50p, and they'd just chuck them in the rucksack, bring them, just paint them, color them in red on their faces.
At least you didn't rob them. At least you weren't that.
Yeah.
Alan John Scott New, who I think it's just maybe his new account. I'm not sure if New is his surname. He messages a lot, actually. Hello, Alan. He said, "Has my Al Snow been sent out yet?" I see people have them. Ordered quite a few with different cards. So I think we know the answers to this one already, but I think it might clear up a few questions you've got. Take the floor.
Yeah. So the 2 variant cards are delayed. Charles, previous owner, never sent the correct file to the factory in time. So when we was like, "Oh, they ship them," they were like, "What variant cards?" So they're delayed, and they're going to be ready to ship around 2 weeks. So we fulfilled every else now that people have ordered. Any else now that people have ordered, double off the black card.
Mm-hmm.
All international single cards and all international doubles and triples and 4s. So any remaining are people that ordered them with sort of the ringside Jay White. There's a few orders that people ordered with them that they're going to be going out this week. Or the people that ordered the variants, unfortunately, they're going to be sort of like 2 or 3 weeks away.
Yeah, I think also it goes for a lot of, if you order something with a pre-order, the last pre-order will ship everything. It's the same for 99% of companies.
It's daily. I get messages daily of, "Why don't you ship this?" you've got a pre-order. It's not due for another 5 months.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially with stuff like this, there's not a great deal of profit in there. So if you're having to ship multiple stuff to people that have only paid one shipping, you're going to start making a loss. And, not going to be around anymore.
No, exactly. Be I'll snowed under. Anthony Mike has put, what's happening with the Luna Vachon figure? I think we might cover this slightly with the Pablo thing, but is that in the same ball?
Yeah. So Luna Vachon is a figure collections contract. When the previous owner won't respond in, they were clever enough to, when they approached people for exclusive deals, sign them to their contracts, Luna being one of them. So Luna's solely through FC. To be fair, Jack he's the one that drove Luna the factory all the way. He's had sole input. It's only right they sell it. We would love to have sold it over here, but obviously Pablo's going to distribute it. And it had to be released just to finish Series 2. So thankfully it's getting released with the Chella card as part of Series 2. And then, so I guess after that in Gangrel, FC will be going on their separate way.
You have a lovely little uphill from Alder's sticker on the bottom left, couldn't you? So any updates we get from Pablo, we will put them on the socials as well, just so everyone's clear as to where to get them and etc. Jonathan Fenton, who podcast partner Johnny Flashback, also wrestler, he's put, is the UK World of Sport Legends line still continuing? And if so, what's the plans for the specific subline going forward? Can I make a request for Johnny Kidd, an unsung hero of the era? So this is the British megastars they had. Also the Big Daddy and Agent Street.
British icons of wrestling.
Yeah.
So I spoke to a few people in the groups about it, whether they'd be interested in like a solely British series or something similar to like Unmatched. They do the Luminaries releases per series.
Yeah.
Whether or not we have a UK figure in every series with a specific card for that, or we're going to put it out to the collectors and see what they want. See if there's enough interest, we'll do it. I mean, Big Daddy and Haystacks have sold phenomenally, so the appetite's there. And there's like Rollable Rocco, Kendo. There's some fantastic people that can be tapped into.
I think
for a really good series.
Obviously, Kendo's sort of massive. I think he's the next natural name, isn't he? You sort of expect and
also Agent Street, the Tiffy's art looks quality. Unfortunately, when I took a Chella, I received a lot of files, and when I was going through them, I found some original card art that was supposed to be for the British Icons of Wrestling series, and they look wicked. And it's just a shame that Haystacks and Big Daddy were rushed into. I mean, it would have been a fantastic series. The card art was great. We'll probably release it on social media in the next couple of weeks, just to show people
what could have been.
What could have been.
Proper put the tip in. Yeah.
Yeah. But I want people to see it and people to see what was planned before it never happened.
Yes, I think that's what, being British. Obviously, it's one thing you look forward to, especially being a British company yourselves as well. So, it is something that you do like a Luminaries, where you'd have a series, and then at the end of the series, you'd have like a special one-off one. It's something you can play with, isn't it? It's just what suits you guys, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going forward. We're going to put it to collectors. We're going to have like fan votes, and then you can all decide what you want to buy. Yeah,
they did the same with the Haystacks, didn't they? They're not releasing both, but so Martin Harris has put questions. So brace yourself for this one. Take some votes. with the takeover of Chella now complete, do they plan on keeping the name Chella or rebrand the line? We've discussed that one already. So lucky you, mine. We've already covered that. Uphill from Alice it is.
In the maybe column.
What is yeah? So what is your thoughts on sort of your name and going forward?
So we're going to put an update out on social media this week. We want to move away from the Chella name. We're going to move away from the Chella name. We felt that Series 2 needed to be finished within the Chella name. So when you look back at all the cards, it's all the Chella logo. Series 2 will be the swan song, and then Series 3 onwards will be rebranded to a new name.
A new name that is
Uphill from Modus.
He's also put, are there any plans to slow down the constant release of renders and drawing of what's coming out, and actually get product in hand before announcing the next series? So what's we have sort of brushed over that, haven't we? With I mean,
a lot of it is like excitement. I guess it's frustrating for the collectors to see, but like all these like fantastic like concept drawings and plans that I want to show people what's coming up, but I can understand it's frustrating for collectors because they've been waiting so long for these. But going forward, the pre-order time is going to be so small between pre-ordering it and receiving it. So I think the constant stream, it will still be constant, but the releases will be quicker,
closer.
Yeah,
you've had some figures that of like the Hayabusa figure that you had that it was announced, and then I think FC might have put it up first a bit ahead of time, maybe. Looking at it, and I think you guys got it up the day after, and then it was shipped like within a day or so.
Yeah, so we had that in hand before we told anyone. It was a Figure Collections exclusive. It was theirs. I think we had 150 or 200. I can't remember the total. They sold out in less than a minute. It literally went. I've never seen something sell so quick. They were gone.
You should try getting a Joey Knight variant, mate. That's crash your website.
I love the Joey Knight figures. I think it's probably one of Chella's best.
It's been an absolute dream, isn't it? I've loved it.
Yeah.
Great. Which one? Bit one of Rush's great ideas, isn't it? For the two variants of that. But I think obviously as you said before, like if you can shorten that down, whether that's just more of a, don't want to talk money, but like a cash flow thing, or whether that's a warehouse being produced factory thing, it's sort of one way or another. You guys know what you're doing, didn't you?
Yeah. So I can't talk for the previous owners, but it's not a factory thing. There's, other than Chinese New Year and end of January, February sort of time, factory is not an issue. Now, after COVID, there would have been delays during COVID, but factories like firing on all cylinders now. Speak to them daily. Love to fly there next year and actually visit it and talk to them in person.
Be a treat.
Yeah, but it's going to be a larger amount of cash put forward to get further along the chain. Instead of concept, put up for pre-order, take the money for pre-orders to pay for the mold, etc. Mold, everything's going to be paid for up to the point of putting up for pre-order. So pre-order should be 40 to 60 days maximum before receiving it in hand.
That's probably the best time scale. That's in a lot of cases that's sort of similar or better than Mattel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from maybe barring the last few releases where they would have them ready.
I mean, there's companies out there that have released figures that the pre-order's been open, has been done for well over a year and a half. Also, Chella get a bad rep, but Strong's released a lot of figures in a short period of time before all the problems came. Now, people seem to forget what happened before, and there's a lot of other companies that have are much bigger. The longer waiting time than Chella.
Yeah, the Aldises were a prime example. There wasn't long between pre-order or just ordering to get them dispatched from there, was there? They were quite quick. Clark Gilmore has asked, would you reconsider completely redoing past figures you felt didn't hit the mark under Chella's original owners?
Yes.
There we go, Clark. There's your answer. And do you think...
obviously we've done it with the Dynamite. I love the Dynamite figure. Did it hit every mark? Probably not. So the 2-pack is going to be our chance to put Dynamite Kid out there that we feel is worthy of a Dynamite Kid.
Yeah, because I think the mustache one and the original one was 88, I think they call it in the first release. Obviously, people saying how relatively small his head was. It's got a bit of charm about it. I think I'm just used to seeing it now.
Yeah. I got on my shelf at home. Also, when the kids are naughty, I scare them with it.
Put it over the fireplace.
It's a grower. I mean, it's not terrible. I just feel like scaling wise and legs wise, it could have been a lot better. So with the 2-pack, we're gonna try and nail it.
The Movember special, maybe we can call it. It was out in November, wasn't it? Sort of early doors, yeah.
I can't remember. It's still such a blur when stuff like pre-order or not.
Rob Sowers, but with having taken over Chella's existing pre-orders, do you have a rough estimate of how many you still need to go through? If possible, we won't go for the second bit because you'll be fucking hours. But yeah, like a rough estimate as to how many you need to sort of filter through.
So we have around just under 4,500 orders. Okay. Which is a lot.
So it is a lot, yeah.
That's a lot. That's not orders, sorry. Figures. So I'm not sure on the specific amount of orders, but in terms of the figures, because obviously a lot of people have ordered like Adam Bomb, OG Dynamite, Haystacks, Big Daddy all together. So it's just under 4,500 figures to get out. But we've already sent out a massive chunk of them.
And that's just to clarify, that's orders, not different molds and different figures.
No.
Yeah, that'd be
multiple different figures. Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot to do. As well as Wrestling Trader.
Oh, as well as the your actual normal stuff. What a treat for you. What a treat for Kate. Bradley Tara's put, has there been any talents that you couldn't get to sign for the Chella figure line? If so, which one are you most disappointed to miss out
on? Obviously, I wasn't the owner. Charles was the owner. Really disappointed to miss out on Ric Flair. Ric Flair would have been he's a massive character. Toyetic. I think Ric Flair would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially as soon as the Hasbro's not deemed as fantastic, is it?
Yeah. No.
I mean, the retros.
I love it in a way. I love it. I love the original Hasbro in a way. But yeah, I just think it's so toyetic, and you can pretty much pick any outfit from any year.
Yeah, just
years and
whack a robe on him and keep him off an aeroplane and be fine.
Yeah. Bloody variant.
Oh yeah, that'd be incredible.
Taking their shoes off and throwing them variant. So many.
5 of them already fired. Imesh has put, seeing as you have the mold ready, with the big demand also with the debacle of the exclusive US distributor, what are the serious chances of a rerun of the purple Nick Aldis figure? I assume you know the NFTs and Matey Boy in Vegas.
Yeah. I mean, we actually, when we received our Black Nick Aldis, he actually sent us a case by mistake. So I think it was like 5 cases, but we received one case that was mixed up of like purple, blue, bloody. So we actually sold them for our site. I think I actually only had one purple. and I sold it to, I think, Adam Bewley, if he's watching. But yeah, I feel a bit cheeky re-releasing them. They're kind of like folklore now. I mean, they're there. It's a shame that people ain't gonna have them for their collections. But I feel a little bit cheeky re-releasing something that people have paid a lot of money for to get into their collections.
Yeah, it's a problem, but it's more of a them problem than a you problem, is that what you're saying?
yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's a very small minority that actually have them in their collections. I feel bad on them, but I mean, who's to say there's not going to be like another Nick Aldis figure in the future, revisited and redone?
I mean, maybe going back to Clarkson, we can have another stab at it. Maybe with moving parts and not looking like Scott Malone, the left back from West Brom. And obviously Ryan Gopal's with sandwich Ryan Gopal, start and finish. He's put, who's the dream get to make a figure of?
My all-time favorite wrestler is Bret Hart. I loved him as a kid. It's just absolute god in my eyes. And nobody can seem to get him right either.
No.
My absolute dream of just messaging Tippy, right, you can draw Bret now, and Tippy would smash it out of the park. But Bret would be phenomenal.
You can ask him anyway, can't you? You can ask Tippy to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Just,
Bret. Probably it. I mean,
I think Bret and Owen 2-pack would be.
Owen would be phenomenal if AEW don't tap into the retro Owen. It's going to be a shame.
Another retro company, don't tempt fate. Actually, we'll go to a final question from Dan Bassett. He's put, would you be open to working with any other figure producers? We mentioned obviously CWF earlier, and we had a brief chat about Rush as well, but fingers in pies or I think a lot of these other companies think of themselves in one lane, where I think you've got to think of the collectors, what's right for the collectors, and if a collab is the right way to release a figure for the collectors, absolutely. I think you're thinking of that in the forefront, haven't you, of the customer and what they're after. So I think if someone comes and knocking, I'm not saying if Rush come knocking and want to do a line together, you sort of have to humour it at least, wouldn't you? Consider it.
Yeah. I mean, if it benefits the collector, we'll benefit.
Imagine that, a Rush and an uphill from Aldis combination. What a treat. Well, Luke, I think that's pretty much everything we've covered. All the other questions I didn't get a chance to ask were pretty much covered during the original chat anyway, so we're all good.
Thanks.
I mean, also, thanks for clearing everything up and obviously having a little chin wag with little old me. So wish you guys the best for everything.
I brought some stuff along to show.
Oh, lovely stuff.
Eddie Guerrero prototype showed off online.
So this Eddie Guerrero one, I think that was the biggest surprise, because obviously he's got, this is incredible first and foremost. I mean, look at it. But obviously he'd have some sort of Legends still on the go, wouldn't he? So how does that work?
A lot of people talk about Legends deals, and there's all types of deals. Your bigger people aren't going to be tied down. Obviously, we just approached Vicky. She was absolutely brilliant. Said, "No, let's make this happen," and she signed off on it, which I'm glad about, because it's going to look absolutely incredible.
So let's look at a bit more of the detail on it, because I was looking at, is it more of a sort of 2000, 2001?
the Halloween Havoc.
Oh, 97.
Yeah, match with Ray.
Yeah, that's the one. Way off where I was going then. I mean, haircut wise,
Yeah.
looks 2001, doesn't it? And I think
Yeah.
trousers wise, it did. But
We could have gone for any time, but I mean, as a kid, I remember like I watched a lot of WCW. I remember like this Eddie. It was either this one or the one with China.
oh yeah, similar trousers.
Yeah, so I mean, really happy with that, and like Callum's done a fantastic job painting it. Got the hair glossy to look like it's wet. It's phenomenal.
So do you see some good customs of the Ray from the match as well?
Yeah. I mean, Ray would look brilliant as well.
Yeah.
So no chance of that.
No, you probably couldn't use the Hornswoggle mold as well for that as well, could you?
No. It's too big.
Yeah.
And also, we have the Killer Bees prototype.
Well, Survivor Series a season, and they
and it'd just be removable heads.
That's the first. It's the first retro of like actual removable heads, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
Makes sense.
Originally, dude, Killer Bees were the first people I thought of to have the changeable heads. And since then, obviously, Tippy's Art Show Demolition come with a mask, and they're going to come with a separate head now. Just because the masks to produce, you have to overproduce the helmet, and they'd end up looking like Spaceballs. They look massive, and so they're going to be separate heads. So it'll be 2-pack with the heads in the middle for Demolition, similar to Killer Bees.
I think as well, you might have with the Atom Bomb as an example, with you took the goggles off, but took a bit of the eyebrow off with it. I imagine you might have a similar thing if you're taking the mask on and off.
Yeah, so I love this like the idea of interchangeable like parts. Also, the DDP that I got night last night is like interchangeable arms. It's got the diamond hands. It's got the diamond cutter arms as well. So going forward, they'll probably see that a lot on certain figures.
It's one thing that the Toy Biz was missing in my eyes, because I think you had the Toy Biz that had the hands and you push the legs together, but you can never really you could do a diamond car, but you couldn't really do like a proper one, could you?
I'm so sorry for Diamond as Page figure out of all of them. I just think he's going to look.
And the tattoos look incredible on it.
Yeah.
And obviously he comes with a soft goods t-shirt.
Yeah, soft goods t-shirt as well. So 2 sets of arms, soft goods t-shirt. Saw somebody on Twitter asking for the bandages. Where's the bandages around his ribs? So I'm not sure. I might check them in. I'm not sure.
It's the scope. We could potentially look at that for the future, couldn't you? I mean, it's sort of in mind. You sort of go right. We've got DDP. Maybe we could have a look at getting Miss Kimberly going forward. Is that how you work?
It's how we look going forward. But I feel the DDP. This is our one and only shot. Obviously, he's gone on to other things. Obviously, since he's under contract with us. So this is our one shot to get this figure perfect. So I'm gonna make it as good as possible.
It looks incredible. So you got the perm and you got the undercolor spot on as well for it. So I think when we looked at, obviously back in April, and we met at Footlow, you had obviously Guerrero, you had DDP, and obviously the Killer Bees as well. Obviously since you've had many delays from Chella's side of things. So is this now like a rebirth? Because these 4 things are now coming to fruition. And Guerrero, I can imagine, it's going to take a few months to come out, but
unfortunately, I mean, by then I was hoping to have all these out by Christmas. Obviously, I didn't plan on.
No, you didn't say which Christmas though, did you?
Yeah. So I'm sure on Eddie whether he's going to be what series he's going to be, or he's going to be a limited release to get him out quicker. But he looks quality. We had the card art finished already. We're just not showing it yet. It looks incredible as well. So yeah, I'm not sure when he's going to drop or when he's going to be ready to drop. So we have Greg Valentine at the factory.
And the artwork on the back of that jacket looks incredible.
I'm not sure if you notice on the pictures we've put up the last week. If you go back and compare it to the original figure we shown, it's a different figure. We had the 3D redone. I just felt it lacked a bit of bulk up top. Just a bit of
big girth.
Yeah, a bit of bigger head. So if you go back to the original releases before to now and have a look, you can see that there's a massive change there, and it's on its way over to us now. It's in the air somewhere. So once it arrives, we'll take some pictures of it and show the people the differences. Just because I don't want to release products that could be better. We're not going to get a chance to release a Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine again.
No, I think obviously not the only company doing one at the moment, it seems. But obviously, what happened with that then? Because obviously I think you released your Greg, and then I don't know whether Mattel releases days after. I'm pretty sure.
So we signed Greg last year, the contract, and Push and Charles, the previous owner, obviously delays come about, and then decided on a date that we was going to put them up for pre-order. And the night before we were going to put up for pre-order, I think Mattel done a panel. I can't remember where it was. It might have been WrestleMania weekend.
No, it was after that.
No, way off that. Can't remember where it was.
It would have been one of the Comic Cons.
Yeah, and they revealed that Greg was going to be in their series 3.
Yeah, the lost figures, I think they've called them.
Yeah, and it's like the night before we were due to put up for pre-order. Complete coincidence. I mean, nobody knew we were going to put up for pre-order. Well, people think we chucked up for pre-order in panic, but that day had been planned for. And on the morning of, we'd already scheduled everything with a website, and also had a funeral to go to. And then I was up till like 3 o'clock in the morning panicking about it. And I went to the funeral and I had no reception, and so I couldn't cancel the pre-order. I couldn't do anything. It was going to end no matter what. And, it was just a really odd
coincidence.
Situation. Yeah,
but so I don't know. I think Chella were doing some sort of like hints or something leading up to it, because there was. So I remember hearing that they had a Greg Valentine before I saw the Mattel one. So whether something had been leaked or whether they put up like a little teaser or something.
Yeah, possibly.
But there was definitely something.
I really like the Mattel Greg. I think it looks really cool. I love the articulation at the knee, like the little boots. I think it looks wicked. It's like nice size to it. But collectors can make their mind up.
They can choose. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can choose. That's the thing about figures. I mean, people like, think it's a big war. To me, it's not a war. It's just releasing the best product we can. And that's what it is to me and Kate.
Yeah, and I'd say you've not had a figure that hasn't sold out yet, have you? So
no.
I mean, the Aldis might have taken a little while, but it's before. Might be buried underground with those copies of ET from the Atari.
When I received the stock from Chella, I was surprised to see not one single Nick Aldis in it. I was expecting to receive a load of red Nick Aldises and nothing. They're all gone.
I tell you what that is, because I've once ordered from them before. They sent me 4 Nick Aldises as additional, and it was just using them as packaging or something.
Yeah. 2,000 to use as packaging on everything.
Yeah, it's cheaper than bubble wrap.
But yeah, we got like a load of stock that we've inherited. That it's just sat there in the lockup. I feel bad just putting it up for sale while people are waiting for their figures. So until that very last pre-order has been sent to somebody, we can't put up online because we just feel bad on people. So once everything's been sent out to people, we can relist everything on the website under the new name, and I think we can reopen the pre-orders for Series 2 then as well.
Yeah, because you got like obviously the Series 2 that I was just thinking from the website, as you said, until things get sorted behind the scenes there. So you got like obviously Haku is probably the biggest name in my opinion, the series. So I think that's people obviously wait for those and or an impatient wait, should we say? But have you got like a rough timescale for those?
I think because of Chinese New Year, it's going to be pushed back until after. Unfortunately, when we inherited Chella, we thought they'd be a lot longer along than they were, which sadly wasn't the case. But all we can do is just push the factory as quick as possible and to finish series 2 and get them out. I mean, in fact, the minis already done, and some of them, I think a couple of the molds are finished, and I think it's just left Hacker, Tangaloa, and some of the others. But I think we're looking at probably February, end of February.
Oh, okay. So yeah, not a million.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Q1 next year.
And how about our Joey figures? What are they come into play? We heard from those.
So the Joey figures are there's so many of them. It's very confusing the factory. Now so Joey sent me the correct files this week of all the Pantones and the correct colorways. So the factory are happy with them. They received them. And I think they've quoted 30 to 40 days from
so
finishing.
A month away. Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, well, what's the date today? So
on the 27th today.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be this side. It won't be this side of Christmas.
So okay. Sort of January.
It'll be first couple of weeks in January for definite.
Just in time for Ash Wednesday, that famous that holiday. You can get your Joey for Ash Wednesday. What a treat!
Yeah, I mean, I think they look cool. The factory were a little bit confused. They're like, more? But no, Joey's fantastic.
Who the fuck are 3POA? I don't know anymore. Yeah.
So I think I know it's up to Jerry to talk with you guys because obviously we're going with the butterfly hook moving forward. What you guys want or whatever.
Well, yeah, I think hopefully we're releasing some info on it as soon as we hear anything. But the butterfly hook looks absolutely delightful. So
yeah, I think we need to. I want to bring it back straight away. I think it looks fantastic. And yeah. That's one of the first things when the switch to the factory are 2-packs. Can we do 2-packs? Can we get the bubbles right? Can I have the butterfly hook? That's it.
Can you make them unpunched?
Yeah. Unpunched.
There's no point in punching them, is there? Because the majority of people that ask that need to be punched themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else you want to spring on? Any other?
I think that's it.
Other figures.
Else now. Have you received an else yet?
No, I have not. I thought my friend had bought me one.
Yeah.
My friend hadn't bought me one, so I'll have to wait until your little surplus stock comes up.
Yeah.
I know you got. I saw your little post. Yeah. I'll be getting one of those bad boys.
Yeah. We'll have roughly around 200, 300 house notes left once pre-orders have all been sent out. So there should be a few there to pick up.
I think it's one of my favorite figures in the BCL line as a kid, especially with Head. Yeah. I think there was that whole thing on there that you got pulled from the shops because people thought it was a severed lady's head. I think you should be alright with this one.
I love the figure. Do I think it could be better? Like, yeah, I think it could be better. But I think it looks great.
Yeah, I think it's like. I don't even actually say it could be better, but at the same time, you're not. These are works of art, but they're mass-produced works of art. Yeah. It's you want it to be a hand-painted finish, of course you do, but you're not about to do it. Yeah, I think certain figures like that Adam Bomb is probably one of the best like retro style figures I've seen.
Yeah.
And that also has the same effect as like this Arsenal with both toyetic and the head looks great. So when it's done right, it's done very, very well.
Yeah, I think the head looks brilliant. No idea behind it is brilliant. Just
there we go. Just give us a what was the other members of the job squad? Flash Funk,
Stevie,
Dwayne Gill.
Finn Gill.
Well, you got him for the PCA line, so he's PC
I don't have
PCW
him.
line.
Yeah. FC have him now.
Yeah. So possible.
Yeah.
Would be good. But
Right.
yeah, well, absolute pleasure, Luke, once again.
Pleasure's mine.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do it again in a year's time where everything will be running a bit more smoothly and you guys are up to speed and we're talking about a Ric Flair figure.
Uphill from all this would be new headquarters. Yeah.
We'll be downhill from Flair will be the new name.
The 20th Jerry Knight variant.
the Ric Flair Jerry Knight variant with the road. And removal helicopter penis. Right. I'll see you later.
Fake car tag. Yeah. Right. Cheers.
Good chatting to you.
You too. See you later.